Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, P. Koffe Brown, in the building tonight, and we got a dope conversation coming up for you tonight. The fellas are in the building once again, doing what they do to share with us about narcissism. So listen, honey, lean in, tune in, tap in, so that we can have this dope conversation with these phenomenal guys as they share with us about dealing with narcissism. We're going to come to some conclusions tonight, some resolves, get you guys some wisdom on how to address this particular issue that's going on in the atmosphere right now. As you're coming in, make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you spread this wealth so others can come in and learn more about narcissism from a relationship perspective. We got Jay Thibodeau in the building. We got Taylor Made in the building and Jason Williams in the building on tonight. Welcome in, fellas. What's good, everybody?
What's good?
What's going on?
How y'all doing?
Taylor, what it is? What it do? What's up, Taylor?
Look, I'm telling you, I am so excited. I've been talking about this conversation for about 2 years now, and I'm ready to jump in because you know what? We're going to say some stuff on here that's going to blow some people's mind because people don't want to hear the truth. But we're going to tell the truth today. We're going to change that.
Tell the truth up in here today. That's what we're going to do. We're going to tell the truth up in here today. So, one thing that I was really thinking about, we're going to get right into it. Y'all know who these people are. You know who these amazing men are. You've seen them. You know them. You love them. You like them. So you know what's up. Guys, make sure you're spreading the wealth on all of your platforms on tonight so everybody can come on into the conversation tonight. Y'all go ahead and spread the love on your personal pages so your folks can come on into the conversation. We need to get these numbers all the way up as we dive into this conversation on tonight. But while we do that and the fellas are sharing, I don't see y'all sharing. I don't see nobody moving. I don't see nobody shaking. What's up, guys?
I'm sharing this on multiple platforms.
Jason, you sharing?
I will using my phone, so I can't do it at the same time. I don't know how to, at least. It's gonna get shared.
Leonard? Hey, Leonard.
Hi, I'm attempting to. Can you hear me?
I can hear you good.
Okay. I had to move from my skiff to come out and play a little bit, so I will do that.
Thank you, love. All right, so while everybody else is doing what they do, I'm doing what I do as well to make sure that we got these folks in the building so they'll have an opportunity to come in and connect with us as we have this conversation on tonight. This is going to be a very important conversation because it is very important that we understand what we're dealing with when it comes to relationships and how we can really have some strong, healthy relationships without the BS. Okay. And I say that without being, inappropriate on the show. We got Pastor Jay in the we got Jay here in the building. That boy lit, baby. He out here putting this music out, getting the sons and daughters right, baby. He lit. Y'all seen Jay Hen? Jay Hen in the building. Y'all better look now, because when Jay Hen blow up, they're gonna be like, that was Jason Hendrickson. That's who that was.
What's up, everybody?
Saying, what's happening, Jay Hen?
Ain't nothing. Y'all all right?
Everything is gravy. Boy, you look like you're about to sing a song, dog.
Me.
In the building. So as I was saying, it's so important that we understand having healthy relationships and what we need to do to make sure that those manifest. Again, as you're coming in, everybody go ahead, spread this wealth, let others know that we're live on the segment on tonight. We want as many people in the building tonight as possible to hear this information. And again, it's so important that we get to this space where we have healthy relationships. It's so much tainted stuff going on right now relationally as it pertains to our hue. We're talking about people of color. I can't speak for no other ethnos because I'm not that ethnos. But what I do know is in our communities are suffering. We're at over 80% of female-led homes right now. Over 80% of our homes are solely led by females. And this is stuff going on, whether it be on our side or the fella side, but we need to get to some resolution and some resolve so that we can help the sons and daughters to have some healthy relationships. It's time for us to turn the corner, turn the page, and get ourselves right with the Creator and with each other so that we can show love, have love, and be love for somebody else. It's so important that we do that so that we can preserve our communities, our families, have these longevity lives going on. We got to work on that. We got to work on that. So tonight we're going to be talking about some resolutions. We're not going to be focused on the problem. We're going to be focused on solution-oriented information for you all to start turning that corner. So welcome in YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everybody. Welcome in to the segment on tonight. We got all the fellas in the building. As you're coming in, go ahead, spread that wealth. Let others know that we're here on tonight for the dialogue and discussion. If you want to chime in, tune in, tap in, click that button to be able to put your comments in, and we'll be able to broadcast every single comment that you make while we're in the session on tonight, which is exciting. It's always cool to see the comments pop up as we have the discussion on tonight. So we're going to get this party started and we're going to get rolling. We're going to get rolling. As you can see, we got Jason Thibodeau in the building. Taylor Made Speaks. Pastor Jay Henn is in the building. Leonard is in the building. And also Jason Williams is in the building with us on tonight. And as a matter of fact, Taylor, are you an international best-selling author?
I sure am. The time
All
is now.
of these men, every last one of them are international best-selling authors. 4 of them are best-selling authors with our DFG Publishing House family. So that means Taylor got to come on with it. Taylor just got to come through with it. He got to be on. He got to be on with the team all the way in. Period.
That's right.
Period.
That's right. That's right.
You know. But Taylor is an international best-selling speaker, best-selling author, and of course he does speaking and all that good stuff. So anyway, these guys are reputable, they're solid, they're phenomenal men. They're not just talking out the side of their head. They have daughters and aunts and wives and all this kind of stuff in communities that they tap into to add value. So they are not here just to talk. They are adding value, and they understand the importance of helping us as women to be able to identify some solid men in our lives. And sometimes we need help to do so. So we're going to get this party started. So we're going to start with Pastor Jay. Pastor Jay, as a thought leader, you're in this all the time. You, as well as Jason Williams, from a leadership perspective as it pertains to the community, you're in the thick of this all the time. What is one of the main things that you would recommend to us as women in our quest to identify life partnerships and strong, solid relationships? What's one of the things that you would help us to identify in a relationship? And one of the things you would help us to look to actually get away from, get close to, and get away from? 2 things. One thing you say, hey, watch out for this. This is a narcissistic something that you need to be aware of. And on the other hand, what is something that you would share with us to say, hey, that guy just might be a solid candidate for what you're after?
The first thing I would say is to all the ladies and even the fellas, you have to identify if the relationship you're in is transactional or relational. I think that it is a poor decision to be in a transactional relationship and not know it. Because what happens is if you are in a transactional relationship and you no longer can commit to the transaction, you catch a brick. Whereas if you're in a relationship that's relational, that will love you in your good times, bad times, whether you can give or not, that's the key thing. And me being a pastor, I equate all relationships to God. God is not a transactional God, because I can't keep up with how good he is, how faithful he is, how consistent he blesses me, how much he does for me. So if I was trying to do an exchange with God based on transaction, I would lose. So my relationship, all my relationships, my friendships, I try not to allow transactional relationships to become too personal to me, because they can just end abruptly and they're just not that healthy. You have to compartmentalize them in order for those to work for you, because they are necessary in certain aspects of your life. But when it comes to your personal life, I think that people need to start looking and hunting, in so many words, for relational relationships, where you can actually benefit from the give and take. And if I happen to hit a hard season in my life, because you're relational with me, you'll cover me. You'll push me to recovery. You'll help me build myself back up. But if my relationship with you is transactional and I can't pay anymore, you're going to move on to the next person. As you know, as a man that has daughters and that talks to young ladies all the time, that's one of the things that I'm very, very adamant about, identifying and compartmentalizing who and what type of relationship you're in. Because again, that's the worst thing to do, for you to be in a transactional relationship thinking it's relational, and you giving your heart, you giving your mind, your body, your time, everything, and then they just dub you.
Ooh, you said a whole lot. I want you to break that down when you say transactional, and then fellas, y'all can just go ahead and chime in because he done started something now.
Transactional is the same thing if you go into a store.
Okay.
You don't go into a store and take a bottle of aspirin off the counter without committing a transaction. It doesn't matter how pretty the owner of the store thinks you are, how nice you make him feel. You're not getting that unless you pay for it. There's no emotions attached to it. There's nothing that matters other than an exchange. And in certain aspects, every relationship is transactional in a way, but when you allow that to be the substratum of your relationship or the foundation, and there's no relational aspect, because again, there's going to come a time where I can't perform. I may lose a job. I may, get into a car accident and I can't perform sexually anymore. Are you going to dub me because I can't transact with you anymore? But if we are relational, love covers a multitude of faults. It covers a multitude of flaws and proclivities. That's the thing that most women miss out, because they're attracted to the transaction. They're attracted to what you can do for me for the moment. But when you're wise, you understand, I'm getting into this looking 25 years down the road where I may not be able to transact like I can transact now. And I need to know that if I'm going to invest my time, my body, my gifts, my finances into something, is it going to pay off for me in the long run? And you only know that when the relationship that you're in is not transactional, but relational.
Whew, dude, that's a lot. That is a lot.
That's very good, sir.
Thank you.
I'm still stuck at the word. I'm stuck at the word where he said substratum. Go ahead, brother. All right. So no, but anyway. So P. Koffe, listen though. Here's the thing. When Pastor Jason was talking, I was thinking is he kept mentioning the transaction, but transactions are handled one of two ways. Either the person shows up leading with their merchandise.
Oh, how you gonna start?
Or can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you good now because you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I said either the person shows up with their merchandise, which becomes the central focus point that the other person is now desiring. They're like, "Oh, I see what you're bringing, you're offering. I would like to use that." Or you have the people that seek for that come. Maybe you're not showing them anything, but if their goal is to just find the transaction, they will hang long enough to discover where that treasure lies, and then seek it, and then the transaction begins. Once that person agrees to it, the transaction begins.
But all of us are wise enough to know, or should be wise enough to know, that no one comes into any relationship being 100% honest. I say this all the time. All of us lie in relationships. I don't care what nobody, I ain't no liar. No, because everybody puts their representative out first. You don't go into a relationship letting people know you snore or you slob while you sleep and you don't like to clean up after yourself. You come out with your hair cut, with your heels on, your toes done. You send out that representative, and that's not who we are. That's a part of who we are. We all start off every relationship with a little bit of dishonesty anyway. So we have to now see past that and understand that after I get past the representative, is this someone that I can be relational with? Because every woman that I have heard say, I don't need no man, you a liar. You're a liar, because that goes against the order of how God created us. We were created to meet the need of the opposite sex. God looked at everything that he created and said it was good except man. When it got to man, he said, oh, this ain't good. It's not good for us to be by ourselves. It's not in the intent of God for us to be by ourselves. So we all are created to be relational, but a lot of times we get caught in transaction more than we do relationships.
So would you suggest that the way that, man, this is juicy. Would you suggest that the way that we start off relationships is not healthy? Because we start off with these expectations, and maybe it's narcissistic expectations. Taylor, help me with this one. Maybe it's narcissistic expectations. We start off with having the expectancy that, you know, hey, said guy, he gonna do this, he gonna do that, he gonna do this, he gonna do that. We going here, we gonna do this, this is how this is going to play out. And that's transactional. Are we causing the narcissism to be a part of our equation because that's how we're starting out? We're basically coming in with those tendencies of the my, and this is the way that whatever. Are we messing up in how we're starting off? Is that where the real problem's coming from?
Well, I think that, first of all, I think a lot of people are delusional. Let's start there. A lot of people most people don't know what they want. Most people are wanting things that their girlfriend, their homeboy, their parents had. Oh, my daddy did this for my mother. Well, you ain't your daddy, and you ain't your mother. You're you. What do you want? I get it. We have role models, we have leaders, we have people that we look up to. But what do you want? Let's start there, right? And until you have that honest answer, knowing what you want out of a relationship and not what everybody else have, then we could have a real truce on things that we're looking for. So yeah, I totally agree. We form this picture in our mind, what we see on social media, what we see on TV, what we see what our friends have, and that's what I want. Well, then when you meet somebody, right? And I've always said this, you have to meet people where they are, right? Let me say that again. You have to meet people where they are. And the way how people are dating, yes, you might be intentional, but you're still going out there in the ocean. You're meeting random people, right? That's walking up to you, that you meet on social media, that's trying to holler at you, that want to take you out. You don't have a clue how they are, what their expectation is, what they're looking for. Because a lot of times, let's just be honest, the conversation don't get that far before the meet. Everybody's in a rush to meet the person, right? To see what they look like in person. Make sure they're not catfish. Let me see if they got a nice car. Let me see what they work with. You know, all of these superficial things, other than just having that conversation to say, hey, you know, some people can put everything on the table in the beginning, and some people, like Pastor Jay, you know, we don't put everything on the table, right? Because you put everything on the table, then you're going to scare some people away. A matter of fact, I think if everybody put everything on the table,
nobody would have anybody.
So I think we have to start there, where we have an honest conversation. We meet the person where they're at, and we build from there.
That's good. Jason, I see you. I knew you was coming in. I seen you. Your whole eyes was just lit up.
Man, these fellas here are definitely on point. And I want to add to it by just saying this. If we would stop coming into relationships thinking, what's in it for me? And start thinking, what can I bring to the table and what can we build? Or at least let's start with, let me get to know you, instead of the facade that you see on social media. Because case in point, pretty much everybody on social media, if you really pay attention, everybody's life usually looks pretty damn good. Looks balling. Everybody got this nice ass car. I'm sorry, I might actually curse tonight. I've been trying not to. But everybody got these nice cars. They got this wonderful lifestyle. Everybody's balling out of control. They're always out. They're always doing all this other stuff. And when I see that and I meet somebody, one of the first things I may ask, and granted, I'm not in the dating field, but I used to travel a lot and I'd meet people between here and Louisiana. I'm in Texas. Between Texas and Louisiana, like it ain't nothing. And especially back in the day when I was single traveling, I would meet young ladies and they'd be like, "Oh, what can you do for me?" And I was like, "That's an interesting question. What can you do for me?" "Well, I don't really cook, I don't really clean, but I'll keep you satisfied." And like my other man, Pastor Jay, said, at some point, I'm going to reach a stage in my life to where there's certain things I can't perform like I used to when I was in my 20s. You know what I mean? Or I have other health issues, or like I am now, I don't always want to be on the scene. I'd like for you just to come right over here and sit down, hang out with me in the man cave. That's where I'm at. That's why you see a different background. Hang out in the man cave and let's just watch TV. Let's just have a conversation. If you always got to be on the scene, if you always got to be seen, the hell do I need you for? That's not a real relationship. A real relationship, you're going to have ups and downs. A real relationship, you're not going to always have that representative showing up. A real relationship, you don't always have to try to be that strong person. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room. You know what I mean? Show up and be your true self. Whether you know it or not, a lot of the men that you're, and I'm assuming, you know, with all these men on the panel, we're talking to the ladies. A lot of the men that you're looking for are looking for somebody who can humble themselves. Not everybody wants somebody overly boisterous, the loudest person in the room. I don't need you to show me how strong you are all the time. You want to show me how strong you are? Show me how you deal with real issues that we deal with from day to day. Who pissed you off at work? Do you even have a damn job?
Uh-oh.
If you see the house is a mess, are you going to help me kind of halfway keep it clean, especially if you help me make that mess? These are just things that are in my mind. So when I meet somebody, or if I actually go visit your place, I'm looking at the same stuff you're looking at. How do you keep house? If every time I got to see you, you always made up and everything else, who the hell is the real you? Let me see you with that bonnet on. Not in Walmart. Keep it at the house. But if we're going to actually start getting to know each other, I don't need to see you with your face beat all the damn time. Hell, I'm a hugger. I like to hug. I don't need your face on my shoulder right here every damn time I see you. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, Jay, I want to start talking with an accent like you.
Hey, bro, this accent is
I like that, man. It just sounds more believable.
In Louisiana.
Don't get him started with that.
Listen, I love it. Let me try it real quick. I'm a hugger. I don't want to see your face right here on my shoulder.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
I just had a couple of outings where we had mixers, and I've gone to support other friends at stage plays and productions they had. And one of those days, I actually wore a white sport coat. By the time it was all said and done, I had half the people's faces that I hugged on both of my damn shoulders. I'm giving people the church hug, and they like, give me a real hug. I was like, I don't want to wear half of what you got on your face. It's already on your clothes. I don't need it on mine.
See, that's why when I got on white, Jay, I fist bump. I don't hug nobody. I don't drink nothing red. I don't hug nobody.
Good fist bump. That boy said I fist bump. I love it.
Fist bump.
I love it.
But you know what? You brought up something that I think would help us to really dig deeper with people while we're dealing with them, and that is the concept of I really want to get to know who you are as a human being, just as a human being. I'm not asking you to go any further than the fact that you're human, I'm human. So two humans want to get to know each other. And I think that's one major reason why we're having all these experiences relationally, is because we're moving way too fast. I'm gonna give y'all this real quick. Leonard and I met through a group on Facebook. Probably Leonard, 3 years ago, maybe?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, 3 years ago, we met on this group in Facebook, and we started conversing back and forth. And I think it was probably maybe 5 months if not longer than that, before we took the conversation that we were having off of social media. But it was a long period of time where we were connecting and communicating and just kind of talking about life or whatever. It never got weird and strange, and we never had any kind of weird, nasty, kind of derogatory type conversations. It was all holistic communication. And then from there, we built a real strong, solid friendship. Here it is 3 days later. We've done collaborations together and certain other things that we do together as well.
Right.
But had we not had those building blocks and foundational things from a friendship perspective, then it would have been something turned bad, like the rest of the conversations that start off in the DMs. It would have been something crazy. I met Charles through social media. Although I knew who he was, he knew who I was. We actually didn't connect until social media and building those rapports, and then started doing collaborations, connecting, getting stuff done. But those conversations were never tainted. They were never unhealthy. They were never compromised. And I think a lot of the challenges with us with women is that when we find ourselves in a state of attraction to somebody, we don't understand that attraction doesn't mean intentional relationship. That doesn't mean that the son of God gonna be your husband. None of that. It has no weight to it. It's just you met somebody. There's some kind of form of attraction. Me and Taylor, we met in Clubhouse a year ago, and we've been buddies ever since that time. Again, no tainted conversations, nothing crazy. Me and Jason, both Jasons, met in direct sales years ago. I'm talking about many, many years ago. No tainted conversations, nothing crazy, nothing inappropriate. And that's why we're here today. This is how longevity happens between men and women. You got to start those foundations. Pastor Jay, I met Pastor Jay in New York at a conference. Been rolling ever since. He's written in 2 or 3 publications with us, Pastor Jay? 2 publications with us, getting ready to release his solo project. And so on and so forth. So I'm saying this to the ladies is that you got to slow down. We got to slow down as women, not just me, but all of us as women. We got to slow the train down to really get to know somebody's son, to even identify if he is somebody's son. We can tell the narcissistic stuff and everything else ahead of time before we even get involved if we stay unglued. If there is no transaction, then I don't have no issue. If there's no transaction, I mean, you don't have anything, I don't have anything. Both of us can walk away with a clean slate. We good. But when we start having these issues like Pastor Jay talked about with the transactions and giving energy, however you give the energy, DNA swaps, transactional financial swap, whatever the case might be, when somebody starts exchanging energy, energy comes with an exchange rate. And that's another way that we're having these challenges is that we really don't want the exchange rate. We really don't want what we getting. And it's because we're initiating incorrectly. The initiation is wrong.
There's something else I want to say. It might be taken slightly off topic, but there's a challenge I want to put out there and something I just want to put in thought to everybody who's listening, especially the ladies. While I will agree that as men, we need to step up, be in more of our children's life, be in the household more when we're producing kids and these types of things. To me, one of the most narcissistic behaviors that I see with women is that if the man is not there, especially if there's a son in the house, why are you raising that son to be the man that you complain about?
Ooh,
that's a narcissistic behavior.
I'm gonna let Jason Williams go with that one.
I want to sit here. I want y'all to think about that. You'll say there's no good men out here. At times, I hear that crap all the time, especially when I used to get on Clubhouse all the time. Taylor, you know what the hell I'm talking about. Well, I need these men to step up. I need this. I need that. I need this. I need that. No, baby, that's what you want. But the thing is, you got a young man at the house. Why not raise him to be that example? Because here's the deal. Most of the people in our circles are in their 30s and 40s, and most of us have kids. There's not always a man in the house. Pastor Jay, just like you, I'm a girl dad. So that's one of the things that I talk about as well. It's like whenever you do have a kid, if that dude decide to be sorry and everything else, are you going to raise that kid to be sorry? Or are you going to raise that kid to step the hell up? To me, narcissistic behavior doesn't have to necessarily be the loud, rude person that most of us come to think of when we think of narcissism. You know what I mean? It don't always have to be the asshole that you see out and about that's showing out or whatever the case may be. It can be what it is that you got going on in your own household. And that goes for girl dads that's raising your daughters. You know what I mean? Most of the time you'll notice that the men try to keep their daughters away from certain people because we know how we can be. Why are you not doing that with your sons as well? So, like I said, narcissism it can be very big, right? It doesn't have to be the traditional definitions that we like to put on it. And one of the things that you have to be careful of, and that's the reason why I said earlier about humbling yourselves, is because I was watching a young lady that was doing videos, and she would find videos online and she would talk about it, you know, like the things you see on TikTok. Somebody might make a video talking about how sorry somebody is and this, that, and the other, or how they may not like. One of the videos was talking about who eats first, the kids or the husband, right? There was a lot of women that got on there making videos themselves that she got a hold of, talking, you know, and they're expressing their opinions, and some of them are taking shots at her. It's like, if you disagree, that's fine. Just disagree. Not everything, number one, needs a damn comment. So you're looking for attention your damn self, right? And that's what my men's over here was talking about as well, whether you knew it or not, is also looking for attention as opposed to building an actual relationship. That's also what I was talking about. If you got to always be on the scene, then you're looking for attention and you're running from something or running from something. You see what I mean? So for one, when it comes to this narcissistic behavior and the things that you're attracted to, really what I'm getting at is look within first. Look within. You know, like I said last week, Cat Williams said it best. If all you keep finding is certain types of men, then it's you. If you over 30 years old still talking about all men ain't crap, it's you. It's the type of guys that you're attracted to and what it is that you're going after. We have to look within first. That goes for the men on this platform, the men in the world, but it also goes towards the ladies. Right now, we're talking towards the ladies. If that stung you, good. I don't necessarily need to be your friend. I got enough of them. Trust me. But the thing is that, and Koffe, I know the reason why we have this platform and the reason you started this platform is to grow people. That's most, you know, a lot of times people, that's what they say they're getting on Clubhouse to do. Well, let me help you grow and everything else. And then they get on there and they battle each other. Why does everything have to be a battle? We can disagree and still be adults. But if you keep having a whirlwind of relationships that keep turning out the same, and you keep finding yourself associating with and attracted to narcissistic men that you know aren't good for you, then you're chasing a lifestyle. You're not chasing a relationship. You want to be seen. You want what you think this person can provide for you and give you. How about you go into this relationship being genuine, just looking to meet a friend? Like Koffe said, I've known you for what, over 13, 14 years?
Yeah, something like that.
We're so close in terms of talking business and everything else that when we're in person and around other people, there's going on between me and her. Not a damn thing. That's their own insecurities. Look
Jason,
within.
you got a vote over there or something, Jason Williams?
That's just my 2 cents now. I mean, look within. Like I said, a lot of the answers that we're always looking for starts with who we look at in the mirror every morning.
Very true. Go ahead, Jason Williams.
Can we? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
Go ahead, Charles.
Oh no, I was just going to piggyback on what Jason has said, and I think that the elephant in the room that we often leave out, at least from my perspective, narcissism is, last I remember, it's not gender specific. And it seems like to me, I hear this word so much And it's often the echoes of a non-compliant relationship at the hand of the opposite sex. If the person doesn't comply with the way you feel the relationships should go, the person is a narcissist, they're toxic. And so it's like at the end of the day, like I said, if you're gonna look up the definition, look it up through and through and see where you yourself could possibly fall into it. Because it's not just one gender, one style of person that's considered to walk in this particular issue. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
You know, my
on Clubhouse.
my 2 cents. I think everyone has spoken on the appropriate trends and how everyday life people come into certain situations. It's always funny to me because I think when people are engaging and they're seeking things, they usually seek things 2 ways. Either something that they aspire to be or something that they want to understand. And when I say aspire to be, you can take it both ways. They can see other people close to them living a certain lifestyle, and they see a particular woman or a particular man, and they say, oh, if I get close to that person, I might be like this person that I'm looking at. But getting to peek in the mirror and understand that you and that person are completely unique and different. When we walk into situations, I converse all day, every day. That's my line of work, talking. So when you talk and you engage people's minds, you understand where their turns are, where they fall off the cliff, where they have everyday issues just like we go through. When you walk into a room, you don't necessarily have to be the loudest person. I think how you convey your thoughts, how you interact with people, humility takes you over the edge where you bring yourself to a level where you can hear, you can listen. Because sometimes, you know, our word count for the day might be 1,000 words and we'd get up and just blob all along, but you're just talking and you're not listening. And sometimes the message is right there. If you just shut up for a second and say, okay, let me listen, you know, let me engage this person's mind and see what they're about. It's not about the glitter. It's not about, oh, what plane can we jump on and, you know, go to the sunset and whatnot. That guy or that girl might be a complete jackass, but they're just selling you the point to get you in that space where they can dominate you. And their trends and their beliefs and all they want is that glamour. What we see on social media, you know, all of us see it every day. We laugh and we joke and whatnot. But in essence, people buy into that nonsense. So when they engage you and you know that you've seen that Christmas show for all of your life, you flip the channel because you already know. I'm not going to waste my time and engage with you because at the end of the day, the energy that you're giving is not the energy I want to receive. I'm not stepping into anything with the goal of getting something from it. Because in this world, what I've learned in the short 52 years I've been on this planet, it's always good to be kind. Because what comes back to you doesn't necessarily have to come back to you from the person standing in front of you. It might be down the road. And if for me, I've taken that approach all along, to be kind, to be open, to be nice. So when people walk into relationships, when the ladies come on, get to know who the person is. When you strip all that fanfare, all the 3-piece suits, all the high Gucci wear, when you strip all of that about, can I trust this person? Can I be real with this person? Can I be open and honest with this person, and that person would not be judgmental of who I am, where I'm at, and can they meet me in the middle? As one of my brothers said earlier, meet them where they are. Cross that line. But most times, what happens is if you come with an agenda, most times you overstep your boundaries, and when that happens, you try to take control. So if you don't get your results with instant gratification, oh, then the person is boring. Oh, they're too much for me. Or then you walk away and you kiss your blessings goodbye. That's how life is. But you cannot walk into you have to understand what you're walking to, even if you're not necessarily a relationship, but just engaging someone's space. Understand their thinking. Be patient. This is not a marathon. It's a work and a journey of life. The answers are not at every pit stop. Sometimes it might be miles away, but it's a journey to get there. And that's what makes it all fun. That's my 2 cents.
Let me ask you something. Not you, but I'm just saying, just the people who are watching. And I mean, this goes to the people on the panel as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure the reason why we're on this panel is,
Hey, Jason, let Jason Williams hop in.
We skipped you, brother. My bad.
Oh, it's all good.
All right.
It's all good. I guess the biggest thing for me is it's similar to what Leonard said, and it's also similar to what Pastor Jay said. Right now, the first conversation most people have is, what do you bring to the table? And we hear what people say, and we see what they say that they bring to the table and all this other stuff. But the reality is, in a relationship, is there really a table? And I'm just throwing this out there, because in most relationships, people come in with preconceived notions as to what the other person is supposed to do and what the other person is supposed to be. But that's not real. Most of us in our 20s really didn't know who we wanted to be with. We thought we did. We had a good idea of what we felt like she should look like, or he should look like, what they should be, where they should be in life, and all this other stuff. But I'm similar to Leonard. With my time that on this planet, I found that a lot of what we need is not in what we want. A lot of those things that we need to help us to really be in a great relationship doesn't come in the package that you think it should come in. And now, not saying that it can't, but for most people, it doesn't come in the package that you're expecting. I'll say it that way. It comes in the package that God sends you. And when you see that package, I think a lot of us in our younger days, and I say that for me myself, we've probably missed our blessings because of the fact that we were looking for a certain type, or a certain, she had to be this, she had to be that, she had to have all of these things in line before I would even want to talk to her. Even though the girl that probably would have treated you like a king just didn't fit your mold at that time in life. So a lot of times when we start these conversations with agendas, and we say, okay, my guy got to do this, my guy has to be like this, my guy has to be like that. That's cool. I understand everybody having a list, having certain levels of expectations. I have no problems with that. But the reality is, a lot of your expectations sometimes you're accepting as verbal and not actual. If I tell you, yeah, I do this, yeah, I do that, but you find out 2 years later, I really don't, then what? I was able to hide that for 2 years, and now you thinking I'm this, I'm this dude, and I'm like, no, not really. I'm really not that dude. I've seen that way more often than, matter of fact, I was in a counseling session with some people, and it was just funny because I wasn't the counselor, but I was just in the session, and the counselor said to them, had you guys talked about this before? And they were like, yeah, we talked about it. We talked about it. Yeah. We talked about it. I know we talked about it. And he ended up saying, well, basically, one of you just felt like telling more of the truth than the other, clearly. Because if you're at different points now and you talked about this in the beginning, then in the beginning, someone was just talking just to be able to say, yeah, I agree with you, when they really didn't. And that happens more often than not, especially if they feel like, well, I can either change to be that person that this person needs, or that person is going to change to be what I need them to be. I've told plenty of women, especially in counseling, that stop looking for potential. Stop looking at potential. Because if he never sees potential, potential will never come. Stop looking for the person that, well, they look like if they do this, and this, they'll be perfect. Yeah, they look like that. But if they don't ever see what you see, they'll never see it. And they'll never be it. And you'll be frustrated years down the road because you were like, oh, I tried to push you in the right direction, but you didn't ever want to. Right, because that wasn't me. That was your thoughts for me. And when you start thinking for me, that's when the problems come in. Or when you start accepting things about me because you think you can change that, that's where problems come in. Stop trying to make a relationship and let the relationship be whatever it is and accept it for that. Because sometimes it's gonna start off wonderful. It's gonna be God's gift. And 6 months later, you're gonna feel like the devil crept in and try to kill all your stuff.
Oh, wait. Charles, you look like you got something you want to say.
No, I was just basking in what the brother said. That was very profound, sir. Good stuff. Yeah.
Go ahead, Thibodeau. Thibodeau's over there. You all right, Jason?
Oh man, I'm over here stogie and enjoying this conversation.
Listen here.
So yeah, that stogie starting to kick in. I'm trying to keep myself rated at least mostly PG. But no, one of the things I like to philosophize or whatever. I don't know the damn word. You know what I'm saying. But what I was going to say earlier is what I like to ask people, who were you before social media? Who were you before social media? Who are you outside of social media? It's funny because I mentioned meeting people who would ask me, what do I bring to the table? You just heard Jason Williams talk about that. It always tickled me that if I was in a social setting and somebody led with that, a lot of times I would look them dead in the eye and say, not a damn thing. I ain't crap. I don't bring nothing to the table. And I think all the times I've done that, probably over 100-something times, I think only one woman ever got up and left. I can tell you, I can just sit here and say, oh, what do you bring to the table? And what do you do for a living and everything else? Nothing. Get to know me. I've only, in my experience, have ever had one lady get up and walk the hell off, and that was a blessing. So if you're leading with that, my question is, what are you looking for? Like my man Jason Williams was just talking about. What are you looking for? What did you see across the room that led your ass to come sit next to me, us to have a 5-minute conversation? 5 minutes into this conversation, you asking me what the hell I bring to the table or what can I do for you? Not a damn thing outside of this conversation. Because chances are this conversation is probably about to end. At least my portion of it's probably about to end, right? Because that's what you led with. So to me, I'm thinking that you're after something. Mm-hmm. You know, what are you actually looking for in this relationship? Why does it have to be a relationship? Get to know me. We may realize that we need to be business partners and we don't need to be in any kind of personal relationship. We may realize that we can learn something from each other outside of what it is that you thought you saw. Like my man, I think it was Leonard was saying, you ain't got to be the loudest person in the room to get attention. If your posture, and I'm not talking about the way that you stand, if your posture is right and the way that you carry yourself, you'll still be the loudest person in the room when you walk in.
Period. Taylor, what you thinking, Taylor?
I mean, it's crazy. I think that, you know, it's really sad. And the reason I say it's really sad is because you see the shift in the world where everything now is led by materialistic and money. You see it in the movies. The you know, the rap songs, the rap videos. You see it, you know, I'm getting the bag, I'm getting the bag. You see it where now it's not I'm getting the bag, is I want a provider. And now it position men to lead with money, because that's what the women want. And so you know, it's so funny. If a woman wants a wholesome man, then guess what? Men will be wholesome. Because women have something that we want. So we're gonna be whatever you want us to be. You want us to be the provider, then yeah, we're gonna lead with the money. Hey baby, you know, I'll take care of you. You don't need to do nothing, blah 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 blah. Right? And we'll go above and beyond. We'll fake it. We'll connive. We'll do certain things to try to win you over, right? So I think that it is a two-way street. But I don't hear conversations of, I'm looking for somebody that's faithful. I hear those conversations, but those are not the first words that's being led. So when the first words that's being led is, what can you do for me? The defense now is, well, if I do for you, what you gonna do for me? Right? And that's what it is. Like, you know, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to be quiet. I met a woman online years ago. And I was like, man, you know, I'm hungry. She was like, I was like, I'm hungry. I wanted to go some IHOP. IHOP open late at night. It was like 1:30 in the morning. And I was, and you know, I was like, hey, do you want to meet up? This was first time our meeting up, right? Do you want to meet up? You know, we could go grab something to eat. And she came back and told me that she wanted, she goes, can you give me some money? Forget about the food. Okay. In my days back then, I'm like, okay, now we switch gears. It's on. Now we went from getting to know relationship path to now business. So now you want money and I want sex. And that's what it is.
That's illegal, Taylor. That's illegal in a lot of places, Reverend.
Now look, transactional.
Oh my goodness. I knew Pastor Jay was going to act up on that one.
The whole time I was waiting for him to drop the mic, and he just did. Perfect. Thank you.
I was like, oh, Jay Hen got something to say about that now.
Man, listen.
But you know what? But it's true though. It's true. It's an unfortunate truth, because that's why I was saying, are we setting up the whole scenario wrong? Because if you listen to conversations that we have about relationships and dating, somebody always looking for somebody else to do something, like automatically, like, okay, well, So, you know, what I have learned and what I teach other women, especially in coaching sessions, I say, hey, when you first meet the son of God, one of God's sons, how about you learn how to go Dutch? You bring your resources to the table. Son of God bring his resources to the table. And everybody walks away with a clean slate. Nobody has, there's been no instance where anybody can feel like there's any violation because everybody participated. But isn't that sending him the wrong message? Isn't that sending? No, it's not. What it is that you're showing that I am responsible for what I do in this scenario, and you're responsible for what you do in this scenario as we begin to get to know each other.
Right.
From there, we can take it to another perspective. But when we're first getting to know somebody and we say that this is a friendship and we're trying to get to know somebody, it doesn't require me giving you anything except for my time. Doesn't require anything else if I'm just getting to know you.
And sometimes that's even a stretch, because I think that we call it in church discernment, but I think everybody has that intuition. Women may have it stronger than men, but once I pick up that you are a certain type of individual, you will never tap into a certain side of me, because I'm a provider by nature. And so when I'm out with a group of friends or I'm out with a young lady, if I pick up that she's on the up and up, nobody ever pays when they with me. That's just something that I like to do as a man. I'm like, yo, you with me? If you pull your card out on a date with me, I'm insulted. I take that as an offense, because I'm the type of man that says, yo, I got this when it comes to this part. But if I pick up that you're a user, that you trying to hustle, I done pick that up in the first 30 seconds I met you. First time we talk, I can pick it up. And I'm like, all right, so I compartmentalize you. You become a hit and quit type of situation where
a transaction.
It's a transaction. There's nothing.
You become a transaction.
No relation there.
Right.
And we'll have relations, but there'll be no relational aspect to it.
But there'll be no relating.
Wow.
Right.
You have relations, but no relating.
And then a thing that people need to understand, the quickest way to wisdom is questions. A lot of people don't know things because they don't ask questions. You're mesmerized by this personality that people have built on social media, and none of it is real. Nobody, like Jay said, nobody posts their failures. Nobody posts their accidents, the bad days that they have. People only post what they want you to believe. And if you're crazy enough to think that I don't have no bad days because all you see is me winning awards and putting out videos, I go through some real crap in my life. But I'm not going to post that part because that's private. That's for me, and that's reserved for the people that have proven to have a certain space in my life.
And
Everybody
they can handle that aspect of who you
exactly.
are.
Because at the end of the day,
exactly,
everybody on this panel, everybody that's watching, we all have great days. We have, not so great days. And we pick and choose. And don't you realize, everybody needs to realize that one picture that you see posted, I took 15 before that.
I only take one, Jay. But go ahead.
No, you ain't that nice. You nice, but you ain't that nice.
I'm not. I'm clean with it, dog. I'm clean with it. I've been doing it for a long time. I'm clean with it, dog.
You understand what I'm saying? But people need to understand that, what you see is a progress to get to that point. Don't be deceived by people that are working to make something real in the world that's fake. It's like guys that are building businesses. I teach them to hustle. I'm like, you see these guys out here with 100,000 followers, bro, don't waste your time trying to do that the right way. Play the game in social media, because half of these dudes is paying for these followers.
Right.
It's not real. And we spend so much time trying to be integral and honest in a world that doesn't really exist. Social media is not real. It's not what it's supposed to be. So you got to know how to maneuver in these spaces and understand that I will become more informative if I ask the difficult questions. I don't care how nice your hips are, what color lipstick you wear. Outside pulchritude is false. Because who are you when you take all that stuff off? Can you cook? Can you minister to me when I've been beat up outside and I need a place of refuge? Can you be that for me? If not, I can get a good looking chick anywhere. I ain't no slouch. Ain't none of us slouches. You know what I'm saying? We could get that anywhere, but can you become a woman of substance that will become a partner that I can build a life with when I no longer have to be performative? because all of us that are out front and artists and creatives, we are constantly in performance mode.
Yeah.
But who am I when I come off the stage? Who am I when I come out the pulpit? Can you handle that dude? And if you can handle that dude, you're the one.
Wow. I tell you, listen here. Lord, these men. Fellas, listen, listen, y'all, we gonna have to hit this one more time to close out the doors of the church. Of course, you know, we just listening to what you all are sharing. It's just so valuable for us as women to be able to take the nuggets. You know, it's like anything else, ladies. You chew up the meat, spit out the bones. Whatever doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply. But I will say this: somebody needs to make application to what has been shared. It needs to be applied, and we've got to start changing our mindset as it pertains to relationships. And you know, Pastor, I love what you said about, you know, if you pull out your car, it's a problem. I make the statement that I made with the fact that I've never actually come out of my pocket to pay, but I have come to the table prepared to take care of what I participated in. Nonetheless, that's not always the case with everybody. You know, like you said, we're living in such an interesting time. And when you're getting to know somebody, you don't know what that person is going to be, what that outcome is going to be. That person, you don't know because you don't know them. And the more we get in this space of building relationships, investment of time, we got to invest in each other. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we're missing. That's why we don't catch the narcissistic traits. That's why we're not catching that this particular individual, like Charles said earlier, doesn't matter what the gender is. This particular individual is just not a healthy connection for me as a human being. Doesn't make them right or wrong, doesn't make them good or bad. It just doesn't make them good for me. And I think we're missing some of the biggest key elements in relationship building by not taking the time to invest and get to know each other. So important, so very important. Guys, as we get ready to head out for tonight, I know Jason Williams had another obligation, but as we get ready to head out for tonight, is there anything else as we close out that you guys just want to go ahead and throw out there real quick as we get ready to turn the corner and shut down for the night?
Yeah, real fast. When you was talking about the table, some people was talking about the table. I think we should have a well. I think it should be deep. I think it should be really deep. And I don't think that you should be able to get to anything until it reached the top. And that's the getting to know phase. That's the building, right? Yeah. Because you bring it to the table, you know, you might put a little more, and I might have, and I just swoop up whatever is there, and I'm out, right? But that's just what I thought that came to my mind.
Go ahead, Jason, and I know Leonard wanted to say something too.
No, go ahead, Leonard. Go handle your business, bro.
No, in short, I always walk away with this simple thought: always be kind, always keep an open mind, and always listen. Trust your instincts, and just learn, because you might not have all the answers, but at the end of the day, you know, what you see that's glitz and glamour when you look in the mirror, if you have to do cartwheels to get to it, maybe that's not for you. So just, you know, make sure that you're open and your real self as much as you can be when you walk into that space. You don't have to be loud. You just have to be you. That's it.
Love it. Go ahead, Jason.
One of the things, and I would recommend this to anybody, male, female, not gender specific. One of the things that I would say is, and you heard it mentioned several times, Taylor being one of the last ones, is if you're really looking for a relationship, be very wary about what you say, because depending on what you lead with, if you're looking for a real relationship, it is not hard to make what could be real into a transactional relationship. Be wary of what it is that you're leading with if you're really looking for love. If you're just looking for what you can get, you're going to get what you can get, and both of y'all are going to move on, and you're going to continue in that spiral of not being in any kind of real relationship. Be careful about what you do and say, because depending on who you're dealing with, you can turn that into a transactional relationship very quickly.
I love it. Go ahead, Charles.
I just wanted to say, substance is never found within a transaction. It is discovered, which confirms what we're saying about you have to put the time in to legit get to know someone. Exchanges are just that. They're transactional in their experiences at best. But if you're trying to really get someone, do the fact finding, do the honest communicating, do the lead. I know we always have said this stigma of leading with your best foot forward, but I say put your honest presence forward and try to that way you have a better chance at drawing a more decent presence in return. But if you're leading with what you know you don't want to continue with, you're setting yourself up for a big mishap within a relationship. And so I think most of us, if we stop the transacting and just take things more serious, we'll come off to be better folks. And then last thing I want to say is you'll never come through the front door with the proper key if you're dating in reverse, coming in the back door. That's what we do today. We date through reverse. We do everything first and then expect the person, after we've gave what we given, to now turn around, respect me, date me, do all these things. You got to come the right way to get the right response. That's it.
I love it. Pastor Jay.
You attract what you respect. Life is a round table. And if that seed is what you sow, remember that in due time, it will grow. So be careful of the things that you do, because it's coming back to you.
Facts, all facts. Well, y'all heard it. You heard it. This has been a phenomenal discussion. And as Taylor Made so eloquently said it with the number 3 up in the air, we got to hit this one more time to close out this series about narcissism. We'll get you guys the information on the date and the time that we'll be sharing that with the fellas, and definitely connecting with them for one more round of how we're dealing with narcissism and working on ourselves in the process, not just talking about the opposite gender, but looking at that self-reflection in the mirror and identifying what we need to do to become the person that we really want to experience relationally. That being said, good night, everybody. Grace, peace, and blessings. We'll see you all again on the next edition of The Hot Seat. Good night, everybody.